So okay, let's walk through that
Sure.
because I think this is going to be very helpful for somebody who is like, getting over the fear of speaking
Yeah.
in the public or,
Yeah.
just having a communication, networking
Interactions.
events.
Yeah.
So let's create a scenario. Like,
Sure.
let's imagine that, okay, so we are going to do all of this live, okay? So
Okay.
I'm going to screw it up and see, I've already started doing it.
Right.
So I'm going to screw it up and you have to tell me what can I do better.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So let's do, like, for example, I have an event coming in the next, let's say, 10 days.
Got it.
And I have to speak in front of 50 people.
Okay.
Now, where should I begin in order to prepare for it?
And I'm your coach in the situation?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So Sahas, you have an event coming up, about 50 people.
Yeah.
Tell me about the audience.
It's a mix of professionals and content creators.
Okay.
And mostly those.
Okay, so content creators. And what are they expecting to get out of your speech?
They are getting, their expectation is to learn how to create content.
Okay.
And grow their views, get more followers,
Okay.
and get more business monetization and all that.
Got it. So if you stepped on stage and you spoke for X amount of time, and after you walked off stage, what do you want the audience to say about your talk?
That it empowered them to take an action,
Okay.
not thinking about perfection, but doing the things consistently, which will get them the results.
Okay. Now, can you see how vague that might be,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
I want you to filter it out from this lens. If I talk for an hour and they forget 99.9% of what I said, and there's one sentence that they remember for the next year, what would that one sentence be?
Consistency beats everything else.
Okay. Maybe we have some work to do here.
Yeah.
The reason I say this is because if you ever attended a conference or a presentation, about 5 minutes later, I'm guaranteeing you forget most of it. But you will remember certain instances that are revolving around certain messages, stories, or phrases. So, for example, have you heard of JFK's moon landing speech where he says, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind"? Maybe you've heard that
Neil
phrase.
Armstrong.
No, JFK said that in his speech. Oh, yeah, Neil Armstrong. So when he said that,
Yeah.
do you remember anything else from that entire segment?
No.
Okay. Martin Luther King, I have a dream. Do you remember anything else?
No.
Right? So people remember these phrases, they remember these stories, but when they're putting a presentation or speech together, they don't have those sound bites in there. So you want to come up with these sound bites first,
Okay.
and then you revolve the presentation around it. So someone's going to walk out of my presentation, and they're going to say to themselves, I need to make 10 videos a week. That's the takeaway. That's
Okay.
it. And then your entire presentation is going to make the case for that message. So now there's no doubt, what will the audience take away from my message? I can go to anyone in your audience and I can ask them, hey, what did you take away from Sahas' speech? And they should be able to tell it to me like that. There should be no doubt.
So what you're saying is that the transformation that I'm expecting my audience to have, it should be tangible?
Yes. Not just tangible, repeatable. So
Repeatable.
good speakers are remembered, great speakers are repeated.
Okay, that is interesting.
So let's say you step on stage and, oh my God, what amazing, no filler words, amazing gestures. He's so great, I'll remember him forever. But no one's going to tell other people about you because they don't have the ammunition. They don't have the language, the message you've given to them, right? If you hear some inspirational quote from someone, you will then tell other people. So for example, one of my coaches, he has a saying, don't rush and resonate. I tend to talk very fast. And when I talk really fast, people can't resonate with that because I skip over the message really fast.
Yeah.
Now, here I am telling you, don't rush and resonate. Because his message resonated with me. So these phrases, if you can litter them throughout your presentation with 1, 2, or 3 for each point you're giving them, at the end you can say, here are 3 things I want you to remember. Make content every day, be consistent, and focus on business, not followers. And then when I go to someone and say, hey, what was your main takeaway? Well, focus on business, not followers, do this, do that. Now you're memorable.
So emphasize, like re-emphasize the things that repeat.
Repeat as many times as you can. Because marketing is repetition.
Yeah.
The same message over and over again. We think they've understood, but they haven't. Say it again and again and again. And you can even do this in conversation. So if someone asks you a question, like ask me any random question right now.
What did you have for dinner?
Okay, fantastic. I had roast chicken for dinner. And the reason I had roast chicken is because I'm trying to go to the gym. I'm trying to stay in shape. I'm trying to cut out carbs as much as I can. I want to eat something that's very high in protein, but also doesn't take a lot of time to make. And I find that when I get roast chicken, the ingredients are very predictable, and I can make it every single day. So what I had for dinner yesterday was roast chicken.
Now, let's break down this.
Okay. First, before we do that, what was my answer? What did I have for dinner yesterday?
Roast chicken.
Is that clear to you?
Yeah.
How many times did I repeat it?
Multiple times.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
And that answer was 30 seconds long. So when you speak and you're that clear and you repeat it several times, there's no doubt in the other person's mind what you're saying.
But what I want to understand is this: what went into your mind to build this message, this statement?
Great format. So this is something that I've taught CEOs, executives, and media training and speeches. It's called PRP. You could expand this to PREP, which is you make the point first, you then provide reasons, and then you end by making the point again. And the reason you end by making the point again is because some people talk and then they'll just stop talking. And so, for example, I love roast chicken and roast chicken is amazing.
Then what?
And then
Awkward.
He's done answering the questions you don't know. Or the opposite will happen. Yeah, I love roast chicken, and yesterday I had beef and steak and all this stuff, and I'm going on and on and on, and I don't know how to end. So the way you end is you just say the same thing you said at the start. So that's why I had roast chicken yesterday. And you just put that cap at the end, and people know you finished talking, and it sounds like a statement. So point, reason, point, and if you want to expand that, it could be point, reason, example, point. Or point, story, point. You can have whatever meat you want in the middle. I like point, story, point just because I've had entire keynotes that I've done with just point, story, point. So we'll have 10 minutes of, I'm going to teach you this, here's the story, here's the format, next story, repeat. And you can do that for 30 minutes, an hour, however long you want.
Okay. So let's go back to the same event that I was talking about. Let's say now I know that I want to talk about content, strategies, let's say 10 videos, like what transformation that I'm expecting, that they will know what 10 videos that they could make by the end of this session is over.
Great.
So what should be my foundation of this speech?
Yeah. So now we have our messages. And how long will this talk be?
Let's say 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. So 15, 20 minutes. I would probably have no more than 2 messages in there.
Okay.
Is it a technical speech? Does it have a story in it?
See, the thing is that I don't like to give a lot of technical speech.
Okay.
I like to keep it a little more, casual.
Yeah.
So that people are able to also get a little inspired and motivated, but also at the same time get few things out of it.
Do these people know you and your credibility?
Yes.
Okay. What I would do, I would start off by talking about what big problem you had and how you implemented the things that you're going to teach them in that problem and what result you got from that. And you would wrap that whole thing around a story. So then you don't have to tell a story and then tell the points separately. You can ingrain those points in there. So for example, you can say, I was trying to launch a business. I was making content here and there. I just wouldn't get any business. I was spending all day, every day. I hired a videographer, did all this stuff. Nothing was working until I found these 3 things. And this is what you're going to have to write down. So the first thing that I did was blah, 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 blah. Second thing, third thing. And once I implemented them, then you talk to them about where they're at now and what's possible for them.
So what is one of the most difficult thing for anyone to crack in any speech that they want to give is how to start?
Right.
So if I were to start this,
Yeah.
how would I start this?
Ask yourself, what can I say to which they would want to know the answer? And you don't give them the answer. So you create,
Curiosity hook.
You create gap instantly. So the way I would do this, and we did this in our workshop, I'll say, I grew up with severe social anxiety, and I had no idea how to talk to people. And 10 years later, I'm coaching some of the biggest CEOs in the world on public speaking. So how did I go from social anxiety to coaching people on public speaking, and how can you do the same thing? We're going to talk about that today.
Oh, this is good.
So it's like, and your audience has to resonate with what you're going to talk about then. You create a gap, and then you fill it in.
Fill in the gap.
And then you go all the way to the start. So 10 years ago when I started doing XYZ, and then you build up to that moment.
So in my case, I could say that I grew up as an introvert.
You can.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 5 years down the line,
Yeah.
I'm the kind of I have over 800,000 followers.
Right.
I never imagined an introvert could
Yeah.
speak in front of millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
And today I'm going to tell you how you can become
Yeah. Today you're going to pick up is better phrasing, I found.
today. Okay.
Yeah. As they're there. I found there's a big difference between, and sometimes I make this mistake too. Today I'm going to talk about this versus today you're going to learn this. Very subtle.
Today you're
going to walk away with the 3 exact things that I did to get 1 million followers.
So this is even more specific and more
specific, and you're making it more you focused. Then I'm going to talk about this thing.
okay.
Right.
So I'm talking like this is what you're going to learn today is a better way to say instead of
Yes.
saying that today what I'm going to talk about is
Yeah.
Okay, then it becomes about you.
Exactly, and it's a discussion, and I don't know what the takeaway is.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about how I got to 1 million followers versus today you're going to pick up the 3 exact techniques I use to get to 1 million followers that you can too. Different phrasing, but it just resonates different.
Yeah,
as well,
because
right?
now I'm curious
Yeah.
as an audience that okay, now I'm going to learn something. How can I also grow to that
The
follower?
incentive is right at the beginning. My coach, Craig Valentine, one of his best opening speeches was, when I was in prison, visiting. It's genius.
It's genius.
It gets their attention and it makes them laugh. And when you make them laugh right away, there's also trust built. So it doesn't have to be a long speech, but a couple of words can do the trick.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. And if you're not subscribed yet, then click right now and subscribe because every week I'm going to post a video or a podcast and it is going to be about marketing, content creation, and business. And if you want to check out some other videos and interviews, then here are some of my recommendations for you.